Hare Krishna. This is the first time I've spoken in public since the operation. Let's see if I can do it. I wasn't planning to do it, but Prangovinda encouraged me. I'm a little compromised in my lungs, so I'm praying there'll be enough air. Can you understand me? Yes. Okay. Hare Krishna. You know, back in the 70s, the Vietnam War, there was a lot of talk about PTSD, soldiers coming back traumatized. But there wasn't talk about trauma from life itself. That only something more recent. And so when I look back at this day, 1977, and I think about what happened to all of us, we all became completely traumatized by Prabhupada's disappearance. And I can say personally, I don't know if I've completely recovered. I don't even know if our movement has recovered. Sometimes I think maybe the difficulties of our movement is just because we're so traumatized by Prabhupada's disappearance. So, on this day, it was by far the worst day of my life. I think I could speak for all the Prabhupada disciples. But later on, it became the best day of my life. And so, when Prabhupada left, the problem was, and it was pervading our movement, is that we thought he left. If none of you all, maybe all of you don't know the history, but when Prabhupada left, there was a feeling that the 11 gurus that were either appointed or we thought were appointed had to become mini Prabhupads to replace the vacuum of Prabhupada's leaving, because we felt that vacuum so intensely that so many devotees were hankering to replace him. So you become like Prabhupada. You sit on the big seat, you take the worship and so on, because we thought Prabhupada had gone. And we were traumatized. And that was, I think, a reaction to that trauma, that we were trying to replace Prabhupada with 11 others. And obviously it didn't work. And then, at some point, we wised up through experience, maturity, and we realized we made a huge mistake thinking that Prabhupada has gone when he hasn't gone. And that we treated him like he was gone, and that's why we suffered. So, when I finally evolved so that I could fully embody Prabhupada's presence in his remembrance, in his service, etc., then this day became the happiest day of my life, because I remember specifically, I don't know if you also had this experience, but because ISKCON was not as Prabhupada-centric as it used to be, or as it should be, when the disappearance day came, we were focused on Prabhupada solely, only, just as when he was here. And so this day became the happiest day, because this was the day that, at least on this day, everyone was 108% Prabhupada conscious, just as when Prabhupada was here. And I felt, so satisfied. Prabhupada is in the center. Of course, nowadays, we've brought him to the center. It's not a problem. But that was personal experience. Another thing I was thinking, I had the fortune of being a temple president at a time when you didn't write to the GBC, but you wrote directly to Prabhupada, and you reported to him what you were doing. So Prabhupada, so many new devotees, and we got a new temple, and we distributed so many books, and we did so many festivals. And then Prabhupada would write back the most important, I think, sentence for any disciple to hear from Srila Prabhupada. The sentence that we live for. I'm very pleased with your activities. And when I would get the letter back, and Prabhupada would say, I'm very pleased with your activity, I would think, my life is a success. I was able to please Prabhupada. And Prabhupada is so merciful, because any little thing you do, he would say, I'm pleased. And if you can please Prabhupada, automatically Krishna's pleased. And then your life is perfect. So I think today is as true as ever. If we can do a little something to please Prabhupada, whatever it is, then I think we should know, we shouldn't be in anxiety, we shouldn't doubt that Prabhupada is saying, yes, I am pleased, because I can tell you for sure, I was not doing so many great things, but he was saying, thank you, I'm very pleased with what you're doing. And I'm like, what did I do? We just went out on Harinam and did the Sunday feast. Thank you, please continue doing this. I'm very pleased. So any little effort we make sincerely, I think it's really important that we acknowledge and we feel that Prabhupada is pleased, and we work for that every day of our life. Can I do something, little something? The last thought I want to share, and I think a lot of us feel this way. When I became a devotee, I was 19. I just came out of university. I never really did anything practical. So then when we become devotees, we're given all these practical responsibilities. And I always felt useless. Like, I don't know how to print books. I don't know how to buy buildings. I don't know how to take loans. I don't know how to communicate with people, create relationships, build community. I'm useless. And Prabhupada has all these like big plans, and I would always think, I wish I had a brain to fulfill Prabhupada's desire, but I don't. And it would just like gnaw at me. It still gnaws at me. It's like, Prabhupada was so intelligent and he had so many plans. So this is what I think, and I want to share with everybody. And I'm probably going to write this in my next Vyas Puja offering. Srila Prabhupada, I lack in so many ways. In intelligence, in ability, in scholarship, on and on and on. But this is who you got. This is it. And all I can do is take this limited ability, limited intelligence, limited spiritual advancement, etc., and offer you the best I can give you. And I just ask you accept it. And Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.